Jesus was pretty queer. Hi, my name is Maddie Mae Modal. I'm a Bible scholar specializing in gender and sexuality. And yeah, okay, we don't know if Jesus was gay, but we do know that according to Greco-Roman standards of masculinity and heteronormative relationship standards, that Jesus was openly queer. There are so many queer things about Jesus that I could not begin to cover in a 3-minute video. But the good news is I'm not going anywhere, so you can follow me to learn more. First, we're going to talk about the fact that Jesus came into the world under pretty queer circumstances. And we can uncover this by looking at the Greco-Roman cultural value of kinship. The cultural value of kinship places extreme importance on familial ties. So in Greco-Roman culture, one of the ways that decency in a family was determined was through genealogies. Yes, that part of the gospel that you always skip through was really, really important because genealogies defended or disputed honor, they predetermined character and reputation, and they even indicated divinity. Kinship was important because it determined whether a person was queer or not, even before they were born. So based on the genealogy of Jesus, we're going to be looking at Matthew specifically. What kind of man is Jesus going to be? Okay, so we've got some big names in there. We've got Abraham and King David. This dude could be important. But there are some pretty interesting names thrown in there too. So we have Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. To have women listed in a genealogy is extremely unusual. And scholars think that the reason why they're included is because all of them were involved in some sort of sex scandal. Okay, but why would that be important? Jesus was born of a virgin. Okay, but let's think about it. Do you really believe that any person who knew Mary actually thought that she was a virgin? It's much more likely that Mary's community thought she was a victim of rape, particularly by a Roman centurion. Some scholars think that the author is defending Christ's legitimacy, a child who was probably perceived as a bastard son of rape. So not only does Jesus have quite the queer genealogy, his family was probably seen as pretty queer too. After all, Joseph was Jesus' chosen father. In the Greco-Roman perspective, this scandal adds a queer aspect to Jesus' family tree. This would have signaled Israel's king comes from queer circumstances and is thus potentially an embarrassment to his kingdom. A king whose mother was likely a victim of assault surely has loose ties to the throne. To the Romans, Jesus would have been seen as a queer king for a queer kingdom. But we know that Jesus didn't come to establish a kingdom as legitimized by empire. Jesus came to establish a kingdom for the least of these, a queer kingdom. So next time someone tries to tell you that your queerness disqualifies you from the kingdom of God, you can tell them, that's just not biblical, sis. The kingdom was made for me.